obviously there's a big difference between a win of $16,500 and breaking even, but it's not an indicator that Bryce Hall had it over Degen Dalt in terms of skill and so on. It was just about luck. And I have to say that DD really is very, very unlucky. He doesn't bet very well, at least according to any standards that I can understand or support. But he's entitled to do what he wants with his own money, obviously, and to do what he wants on his own YouTube channel. Bryce was blessed with a huge player edge. It's about 30%, and he actually dented it a little bit. His final win was less than the value of if he'd been flat betting against the same set of outcomes. Meanwhile, DD saw a player edge of about 7%, and he just blew it. So and naturally in both cases, playing against the same outcomes, pattern betting kicked ass both times. Nothing as not as dramatically as Bryce did, but then on a tiny fraction of his total action and his total risk. So there you have it, and I'll see you later. All right, so Degen Dalt, Dalton Webb, gave me something different to tackle this time. A short session in which he played alongside somebody who apparently is his pal, Bryce Hall. Mr. Hall seems to be one of those sort of like almost famous people. He's all over the internet, in his mid-20s, and describes himself as being sick. And I have to say that if I'd been sitting next to him at a blackjack table, I'd have been a little bit nervous about germs, because he seems to have some kind of nasal drip problem that he doesn't think deserves any kind of contact with tissues or a handkerchief or whatever. But hey, it didn't seem to faze DD at all, and certainly not Bryce himself. So maybe it's my imagination. I don't know. Anyway, this time Degen Dalt didn't lose. He didn't win, but he didn't lose. You look at the actual value here, and you look at his performance. As ever, it's the same difference. It's just it's extraordinary. And I have to say, as I always do, it's his money, it's his choice. He can do what he wants. He's putting stuff out on his own channel, so he can choose to do what he wants, present himself in any way that he wants, and he can't be held accountable for that. But he didn't do at all well this time. There was a player edge in the end because there was a burst right at the very end, which benefited both him and Bryce. He had a player edge of 7.14%, as you can see, and he didn't manage to make anything out of it because he does these crazy things. Like his last bet was $5,000 for no reason. Why? Yes, he had a winning streak here, but look at this winning streak here. He got double down win here, player win there. Oops, player win, push, player win, and then he just decides to blow everything. He was 5,000 ahead, and he decided to blow everything on his last bet, and that kind of thing. That's what the casinos love. They want that kind of stupidity, that sort of like recklessness, that sort of self-destructive kind of thing that so many gamblers suffer from. And by golly, he played by the rules this time, didn't he? He got up to pattern betting against the same 7.14%, and pattern betting's performance looks pretty much the same as the AV, simply because there were so many wins in the end. It was pretty hard not to do well. Pattern betting made 30.8% of its total action, obviously helped considerably by the 7% um, player edge that was here in this. And what I did here, of course, was I should have explained this before. I took DD's rounds and played them with the pattern betting algorithm separately, because obviously I couldn't play both of them. It was, funnily enough, a perfect example of what a stupid idea an extra hand is, because Bryce had the first base, or no, third base anchor. I do get confused. I'm sorry about that. It's because I always think of it as left hand being on my left side. So the far left bet is what I'm most interested in. If somebody like DD or Mr. HP or whoever is splitting out into two hands, basically I just don't want to know about the second hand, only the one closest to the dealer, the last one that the dealer deals with. And he just demonstrated that he was in the extra bet position and the extra hand position, and he just got screwed. So anyway, that's the difference between both of us enjoying 7%. It is me, isn't it? The pattern betting algorithm turning that into 31%. So that's sort of like 4 times what was handed to us very politely by the dealer. And then we go down to Bryce's hands, and he's a competent player, I would say, but greatly assisted by a huge burst at the end here. I mean, look at this. It's just incredible. Win, win, lose, win, 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 lose, win, 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 win. I mean, you'd have to be an idiot to lose in those circumstances. And he actually enjoyed a 34% player edge, which he just jogged along with and actually slightly spoiled it. He knocked it down to 33%. Now, for you folks out there who don't care about numbers, well, I don't know what you're doing here. Numbers are essential to any kind of understanding of any of these tilted table games in a casino. Basic rules are: don't touch slots, because the house edge on those is between 6 and 10%. So if you've got money to burn, or if you hate having money and you want to get rid of it, that's a good way to go about it. You're dealing with different percentages at table games. You're dealing with less than 1% at blackjack. You're dealing with less than 1.5% at baccarat, and you're dealing with less than 1.5% on even money bets at craps. Roulette is a different story. It's tougher. Even single zero is about 2.5% for the house. A little over 2.5%, 2.6 something or other. I don't know. It's 1/37th. Do the math, okay? It's a high advantage, but I do enjoy starting out a new sort of sequence of bets at roulette, because sometimes you can get a run going on roulette that's ridiculous, as long as you're not daft enough to bet on the numbers. I mean, that's just bonkers. The best thing to bet on, in my experience, at single zero roulette, is to bet on 2 dozens at once. So bet on the first and second, or the second and third, or the first and third, or whatever you want to do, second and third. But what'll happen is that you'll lose one of them, and you've got a decent chance of winning one or the other, and the other one, the one that you win on, pays 2 to 1. So then you end up making a single unit every time your block of 24 numbers comes in. And it's a good way to go, especially when you apply progressive betting. But that's another story. It's a slightly different approach, but it's definitely a lot better than anything that's offered by Casino Matchfaker, who I honestly believe is still working in the casino business, because his incredible strategies that he makes a big fuss about and says, I'll stake my career on this and my reputation and whatever. And they're all rubbish. They all give the house exactly the same edge because they don't track the loss to date. They don't respond to the loss to date. And that's the difference between most strategies and what I'm doing here. Because what happens is that the bet increases sensibly, numerically, logically, in lockstep with the loss to date, so that when a good situation arises, a plus run or a winning streak or whatever you want to call it, bang, you're in. If you bet the way that somebody like DD does, forget about it. Anyway, Bryce made 16,900. He made money on side bets. Yeah, he made decent money on side bets, and then lost in the end. He lost on side bets because he went a bit nuts. He was doing 200 a pop and all that sort of thing. But I don't consider those to be even worth a moment's consideration. They are just absolute nonsense. DD, of course, would disagree because he recently won 100,000 on a side bet. But that's a very rare event indeed. So what I don't like is his kind of like hint that he won it at blackjack. And yes, it was a side bet on a blackjack table, but it certainly had nothing to do with blackjack. It was just it was a separate risk, a separate whatever stupidity. But anyway, it paid off that time, and that will happen from time to time. I mean, somebody will just do something really daft and make a shitload of money. And that's why people keep on doing daft things, isn't it? So there you have it. Let's have a look at pattern betting's performance against Bryce's outcomes. And, 34.3% was his player edge. Pattern betting improved that to 46%. Won a lot less than he did, but obviously also had a much lower action. His action was... I don't even remember now. His action was 51,000 and the algorithm's action was 7,000. So it's a big difference, isn't it? So there it is. But these guys, I always think it's worth tracking these people because you doubters out there who wonder about the viability of progressive betting and pattern betting in particular, can do your own work. Put time in and make your own judgments based upon the numbers that you see in front of you. And so I'll keep on it. It's particularly easy with DD because his editor buddy, does a really super job putting all the information on screen so that somebody like me can very quickly, But anyway, there you see the difference. One Bryce Hall and the other, and it was a piece of piss, really. I mean, it's no big deal that pattern betting made money out of this lot because it would be very hard to lose, especially. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Bloody hell. Superb. Anyway, that's that for now. That's it for now, and take it or leave it, believe it or not, and I'll see you next time.